I'm Dixie Decker. I'm from Springfield, Missouri, and I am a real estate investor. I haven't always been that, so this little session here is for anybody that has lost hope or wants to start over and wants to know just a little bit about me. Something I don't like to talk about a lot is why I do real estate investing and how I got into it. I'll try to make this really short for you, but I know there's somebody out there that just needs to hear this. If it's not for you, log off, come back later. I've got more teaching for you. But for right now, this is just to let you know why I do what I do. Back in, goodness gracious, I was 18. I came from, the all-American normal family, we call it, if anyone's normal. And what's encouraged is to go to college, get a degree, graduate, get a corporate job, the all-American white picket fence dream. And I'm the black sheep of the family, folks. I guess I should say right now, though, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of where I came from, but it's not a pretty story. When I was 18, though, my dad taught me how to buy my first house. I had a great job, and I had a great tax return and a W-2 and paycheck stubs, and he taught me how to go to the bank and get a traditional loan and buy a little house. We called it a rehab back then because he said, all you gotta do is strip that wallpaper and put some carpet in and you're ready to go. And I did. And I was like, I love this. This is what I want to do. Well, in the meantime, I was a waitress. I was a hostess. I got my license as a realtor and then a mortgage broker. And my ex-husband owned a tool franchise. And I just knew how to work really hard and do traditional banking. So times turned. I knew in 2010, the life I had with my ex-husband wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It wasn't the all-American dream that I thought I had signed on for and that I took vows for. And it had been rough, but I took vows, and that's not what we do in our family. You don't get divorced, you stick it out. You made a promise. But I knew when I figured out that there was drugs and alcohol, there was mental, emotional, and physical abuse. There was other women in my marriage I didn't know about. I knew that was it for me. I knew I couldn't do that life anymore. So at that time, I had actually taken a job making $30,000 a year, running an accounts receivable office, and I knew that traditional all-American dream of owning real estate was over. What I also didn't know was over was I realized why my ex-husband came home from work every day at 2 o'clock, and that was to get the mail. So with my beautiful credit score that my dad taught me how to keep and earn of over 700, also earned me a little over $150,000 in debt I didn't know I had that my ex-husband had taken out in my name with my beautiful credit score. So if you can do the math, when he left me with everything. Everyone would say traditionally, like, hallelujah. Well, hallelujah, he left me with the kids full time. I'm happy for that. I'm happy they don't have that influence in their life currently, but I'm sad that they're missing that piece of their life as well. I got the debt too, though. I got the house, I got the land. He walked away with a free and clear truck. We had refinanced into the house with my beautiful credit score. I also got all of this credit card debt I didn't know I had, $30,000 a year. So I knew it was time to start boogieing. And I consulted with an attorney, and he said, look, you're not carrying around Louis Vuittons and fancy stuff. You're never going to dig yourself out of this hole. So I folded the cards and I filed bankruptcy. The other thing I didn't tell you about me was instead of finishing college, I decided to have babies with my husband. Also, one of the things I will never take back or regret in this lifetime, I was very young when I did that. I was married, and I have them full-time, 365, 24/7. They're mine, and I'm happy about that and proud of that. But as I told you, I'm the black sheep. So I have the divorce. I have the bankruptcy. I don't have the college degree. I'm the single mom. Broke, bankrupt, no credit. Life was over, folks. All of that came to an end in 2013. And I went to one of those real estate trainings from a late night infomercial. And I had met my childhood best friend at a 10-year class reunion, and he shared with me about this late night infomercial real estate stuff. He'd been my best friend since 7th grade, and he told me he was a real estate entrepreneur, and I'm like, okay, I need to know you now because I need a second job. I had that real estate license, remember I told you about that? And I told him, I said, I need to be your realtor. I'll work nights, weekends, we'll find you some properties. You're an investor or an entrepreneur. Like, he was my like get out of jail free card, right? Not true. He looked at me and he's like, I already have a realtor. And I'm like, oh, this was supposed to be easy. Well, I knew I could outwork anyone, so I started visiting those houses with him and putting in my input on the floor plan and the design factor and the colors, and pretty soon that other realtor lost their job and I was the realtor on board. So now I was working 2 jobs to provide for my little family, but what no one knew at the time was I was eating dinner at my parents' house to make sure the kids got fed. My mom would pack to-go lunches for us so that they had good food the following day, and I worked my hiney off, and those kids visited so many houses with me. So Brandon says to me, let's go to this real estate training thing for your birthday. I said, okay, so that was 2013. I started crying after that first day when I realized there's another life out there in real estate, and it's called wholesaling. It's called lease options. It's called owner financing, subject tos. It's all those words I had never heard as a traditional real estate person that only knew how to go to the bank and get a loan. So I'm just crying thinking, there's light at the end of this tunnel. I can go back to doing real estate that I want to do now. I had no idea this world existed. So that's when my new life, I call it, began. I started grinding it out. I worked and worked and worked, and I did 37 transactions that first year after learning all those strategies. And it was life-changing for me. I quit my day job, kind of crazy for a single mom, to just quit a solid paying job with insurance and benefits to go self-employed, right? But I did that. So my new life looks exponentially different from my old life. I now passively earn over $1 million gross in rents per month from people that rent properties from us in student housing. I've mentored for some of the greatest gurus in the real estate industry and taught their students how to buy properties. Those things I'm very proud of, but the one thing that I'm the most proud of now is I get to go to the grocery store without checking the balance in my account before I go. Because once you've heard that noise at the grocery store that's like, means you declined, you never forget that. It's ingrained in you for life. And then with my new life, I got one of those credit cards that has the little chip in it, and when you put it in to pay for your groceries, it gives you that same terrible sound. And I cringe every time, and I look at the cashier and I say, you know, they should really make those things go dun dun dun, like you succeeded, you were approved, because you're terrified every time you hear that noise. So that's one of my most favorite things about my new life. All the numbers are fancy. The E550 Mercedes convertible that I bought, that's fun. The trips I've taken my kids on that I never thought I'd be able to do, as simple as Disney World, that stuff's expensive. I'm starting to do those things. I'm starting to enjoy this new life again. And I just know that somebody out there needs to hear, you may have one of those badges of honor I talked about that no one is proud of. Those are my badges of honor. If you have just one of those and you think life is over, I'm here to tell you there is another one out there for you. So this one's about mindset. It's all about what you want, and find a mentor, find something to latch on that fits your personality and roll with it and give it your all.